hey guys, I am here at the Self-Affair booth, specifically at the Frosthaven Digital side of it, and I'm here with Isaac Childres, of course, the designer of Gloomhaven and Frosthaven. We're going to talk about Frosthaven Digital. So before getting into tabletop gaming, I was a big video game person, so it is exciting to see a game as tactical and kind of in-depth as Frosthaven implemented into digital. So when you were kind of envisioning this Frosthaven Gloomhaven, did you always see the digital implementation as a part of that entire plan, or was that something that came a little later in the process?
Yeah, it came a little later in the process. I mean, in the course of designing Gloomhaven originally, like it was very inspired by video games, like Diablo and Dragon Quest and stuff like that. I mean, you can kind of see that a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just kind of like feels video gamey a little bit, just like how things like progress and play out. I mean, obviously, like you're playing cards, but Anyway, so yeah, it's always been a big inspiration for me, and so yeah, when the opportunity to license out the like digital rights to, I guess they were Asmodee Digital at the time, now they're Twin Sales, but yeah, when that opportunity came along, it was like, yeah, it makes perfect sense to like.
Yeah. Was there any specific video game that you feel like, if people are a fan of a certain type or genre of game, that they would kind of enjoy Frosthaven Digital?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, like XCOM is an easy, an easy call there, especially like with the base building elements of Frosthaven.
Yeah.
Which is kind of new to Frosthaven. It wasn't really in Gloomhaven, but
yeah, that is exciting. I am a new XCOM fan when they rebooted it in like 2012, and then I've gone back and played the tough as nails older versions. So you worked with Snapshot Games on this?
Right. Yeah.
And that is headed up by, I guess, the person who did XCOM originally,
games,
right?
Yeah.
And I gotta say, I feel like there's like some shared difficulty DNA between Frosthaven, Gloomhaven, and XCOM, which is really cool to see. I'm curious, so obviously Frosthaven starting off physically, is there anything that when you were approaching this that you saw room for improvement or things you felt you were able to address when moving over digitally?
No. We were pretty happy with the board game.
Yeah.
I mean, Snapshot really just wanted to like make as faithful adaptation as possible. I mean, I guess like the one thing that was added was like a kind of more in-depth tutorial. So there's like going to be like 5 different scenarios that you can kind of play through to learn how to play the game.
Yeah, kind of onboard new players into getting into it.
So in the board game, there's just like a single tutorial scenario.
Okay.
But you can do a lot more tutorialization in a digital format. So they took the opportunity to.
Yeah, I mean that's probably one of the biggest benefits is having those guardrails that players have, and making mistakes. It's a little easier to keep them on track with things.
Yeah, or it's just like click this button, then click that button, and you can make them click those buttons.
Yeah. So on a kind of broader, like zooming out a little bit, where do you kind of see, I mean, Frosthaven digital implementations in general, do you see them as, I guess, replacements? Do you see people playing both? Where do you see them kind of existing in relationship to each other?
Yeah, I see a lot of synergy between them. It's not like you're just going to buy one or the other. I think a lot of people either like start with the board game and then see the digital version and be like, oh well, yeah, that's a lot more convenient for me to just like play by myself when I want to. I have to get a whole group together for a whole day of gaming to play it.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, you might have people who play the video game and say like, oh, this is fun. There's a board game version. I want to try it with my group of friends, right? So.
Yeah, I've always found them very useful as a way for me to test the waters with the game and then kind of introduce it to people, especially the learning aspect, having the tutorial built into it. It's helpful to then go to the physical and then you can kind of pick it up a little bit more easily.
Yeah, it might be easier to learn in a digital format and then you'll be more comfortable playing the board game,
Yeah. So I know recently the Mercenaries kind of character expansions were announced recently. Is the plan to kind of have these integrated into Frosthaven Digital?
Potentially, that's certainly an option that we're, toying around with right now. We're definitely focused on getting the core game through early access, right? But once it has a full release, then we'll be talking about DLC and what can we potentially do there, and just adding more characters like the Mercenary packs makes a lot of sense.
The Fall line, really cool. Excited for that one. So speaking of early access, so obviously this is the sequel to Gloomhaven Digital. Is there anything from that experience or project that you feel you're going to improve on, or you kind of learned lessons from that in going into the sequel?
I mean, I feel like the development studio probably like learned a lot of lessons. I mean, it's a different development studio, but you can kind of see. I think one of the main things was that the engine for the original Gloomhaven was kind of built as they went, and it got kind of like rickety towards the end, like with all the stuff piled on top of it. That metaphor follows, and so I think they did a really good job, like building a core engine first, and planning ahead to make sure like everything fit within that engine. But yeah, that's on the development side. Like on my side, like I don't know, I felt like both processes, like working with Gloomhaven Digital team and the Frosthaven Digital team, like it was smooth for both. It was just looking at all the artwork and improving. Like I didn't have a hand in like any actual like development work or anything.
You're not
a
coder yourself doing the programming.
Just license it out and say, yeah, that looks great.
And, I'm curious now. I guess how you mentioned improving artwork and such. What kind of aspects are you directly kind of working on in the digital version then?
So like I said, I mean, it's just, it really is like we just have a meeting like every 3 weeks or so, and they just come to me with, all the new like animations or like, earlier on in the process, it was like all the biomes they were working on, if they looked like correct, like thematically, and so I would give them suggestions on things to change, or some of the animations for some of the characters. Just making sure everything fit within the worlds that I envisioned.
Is there one specific aspect, like a character or an area or some aspect of Frosthaven that you're really happy with how it was translated into like a 3D digital space?
I mean, all of it. It's a short answer, but I think some of the biomes, they did a lot of really cool stuff there. Because in a board game, you can only have like so many map tiles, and you kind of got to just like fudge it a little bit. Like, okay, this is a ship. Okay, now it's a room in a house. But being able to be in a digital space where like every scenario basically has like a handcrafted map that they built. Just much greater visuals than you can achieve in a board game.
Really coming all to life and seeing it.
So like some of the sea stuff that they did, like under the ocean or just like along the shore, like a lot of the Abale like architecture, which is one of the like enemy groups that you face in the game. Like I just think it looks really cool.
And I remember even in the kind of demo that was out a couple weeks ago, just seeing the characters come to life and raise skeletons and everything. It's just so cool to see those characters that you've always kind of envisioned on tabletop. Seeing them come to life is really cool.
Yeah, that as well for sure. Yeah, like even just when I first like conceptualized these characters, right? I try to like inject as much theme into them as possible, like in the card names, and like kind of like imagining in my mind like what they're doing and like how I can describe that like in terms of the mechanics on the card, and so to then be able to see all that like animated, it's super cool.
Do you feel, so you mentioned this a little bit in the details of environments and how much more you can push things and being rendered in 3D. In terms of character complexity, do you ever feel like you could really push the envelope with some crazy designs if it's more being managed by a program? Like, would you ever just totally push the envelope and do something purely digital?
No, I feel like it's actually kind of the opposite. Like, I don't know, when you're dealing with like a board game, you kind of have like a human brain piloting things, right? So it's like you can do some like crazy stuff and they'll be able to be like, okay, yeah. Or a good example is like in the original Gloomhaven, you had the level 9 Tinkerer card. I don't know how familiar you are with the game, but like, the chimeric formula where you can be like, okay, that class takes a card from any other class in the game and can now use it in their kit. And like, when they came to the digital implementation, they're like, no, we can't do this. Like that's like 10 times the work of anything else in the game put together, because now you have to think about all the different combinations, or like code all the different combinations of possibilities. And so I think there's a lot more limitations in a video game actually in terms of coding and having the program actually like figure out what to do in these like weird like edge case situations.
That's interesting. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, so I mean, even in the case of Frosthaven, actually, there was one scenario that they weren't able to implement.
Oh, really?
Because it was just too off-the-wall bonkers.
Well, I'm glad that you're not, it doesn't limit you. You're always pushing the envelope and doing cool, interesting stuff, which is what people love about the series. So, so this has gone, I think, on early access July 31st, which is yesterday as the time we're recording this.
Yeah.
Is there a plan for a full release kind of timeline after that?
Not like concrete at this point, but yeah, the plan is for early access to last about a year.
Okay.
So they'll be adding more content throughout the next year, and then ideally we'll get out of early access around.
Awesome. And I know it's on Steam. What other platforms?
Epic.
Epic Games?
Yeah, Steam and Epic. I think,
Okay.
are 2
So
platforms.
just PC. Are there any plans for mobile adaptations?
Again, I think that's probably happen after we get out of early access. We'll consider what other platforms we could add it to.
Very cool.
Switch to, I don't know.
Well, Gloomhaven is on regular Switch,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
the door is open.
We eventually got it on Xbox and PlayStation and Switch. So
Very cool.
yeah, we'll see what happens once early access ends.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Isaac, for talking with me about Frosthaven Digital. I'm really excited for it. Again, as a big video game person, I have a way to play Frosthaven without having to wrangle a bunch of cats together every week to play it, which is very exciting.
Yeah.
So if this looks cool to you, if it looks interesting, check it out on Steam, check it out on Epic Games, get in the early access, give your feedback, and we're excited for a full release in about a year or so. We'll be looking out for it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.